Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, I hope that everyone is doing well today on this fine Saturday. Um, Today, inshallah, we will be continuing with our class. We will be going over Surah Yasin, continuing it from yesterday, starting the 23rd juz. And yeah, that's about it. I don't believe there's anything else. Everything is pretty straightforward, inshallah. All right. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم أما بعد فقد قال الله في القرآن المجيد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما لي لا أعبد الذي فطرني وإليه ترجعون. What excuse do I have if I do not worship the one who has created me and to whom you will be returned? أتخذ من دونه آلهة إن يردنا الرحمن بضر لا تغني عني شفاعتهم شيئا ولا ينقذون. Shall I adopt those gods beside him, whose intercession, if Ar-Rahman intends to do harm to me, cannot help me in the least, nor can they come to my rescue. إِنِّي إِذًا لَفِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. In that case, I will be in open error indeed. إِنِّي آمَنْتُ بِرَبِّكُمْ فَاسْمَعُونَ. Undoubtedly, I have believed in your Rabb, so listen to me. قيل ادخل الجنة قال يا ليت قومي يعلمون. Thereafter, when his people killed him, it was said to him, enter the paradise. He said, would that my people knew. بما غفر لي ربي وجعلني من المكرمين. How my Rabb has forgiven me and placed me among the honored ones. وما أنزلنا على قومه من بعده من جود من السماء وما كنا منزلين. And we did not send down to his people any army from the heavens after him, nor were we in need to send down. This means that in order to destroy these people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do not need to send down an army of angels from the sky. Instead, they were annihilated in just one single cry. إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم خامدون. It was no more than a single cry, and in no time they were extinguished. يا حسرة على العباد ما يأتيهم من رسول إلا كانوا به يستهزئون. Alas for the slaves of Allah, no messenger came to them, but they have been mocking at him. ألم يروا كم أهلكنا قبلهم من القرون أنهم إليهم لا يرجعون. Did they not see how many generations we have destroyed before them who will not come back to them? وإن كل لما جميع لدينا محضرون. All of them are but to be assembled together and to be arraigned before us. وآية لهم الأرض الميتة أحييناها وأخرجنا منها حبا فمنه يأكلون. And a sign for them is the dead land. We gave it life and brought forth grain from it, so from it they ate. وجعلنا فيها جنات من نخيل وأعناب وفجرنا فيها من العيون. And we have placed gardens of date palms and grapes and caused springs to gush forth therein. ليأكلوا من ثمره وما عملته أيديهم أفلا يشكرون. So they might eat fruits thereof while it was not made by their hands, would they not then offer gratitude? سبحان الذي خلق الأزواج كلها مما تنبت الأرض ومن أنفسهم ومما لا يعلمون. Pure from every fault is the one who has created all the pairs of whatever the earth grows, and of the humans themselves, and of that which they do not know. وآية لهم الليل نسلخ منه النهار فإذا هم مظلمون. And a sign for them is a night. We strip the cover of the day from it, and they are suddenly in darkness. والشمس تجري لمستقر لها ذلك تقدير العزيز العليم. And the sun is quickly proceeding towards its destination, that is the designing of the Almighty, the All-Knowing. وَالْقَمَرَ قَدَّرْنَاهُ مَنَازِلَ حَتَّى عَادَ كَالْعُرْجُونِ الْقَدِيمِ. And for the moon we have appointed measured phases until it turned pale, curved and fine like an old branch of a date palm tree. لا الشمس ينبغي لها أن تدرك القمر ولا الليل سابق النهار وكل في فلك يسبحون. Neither it is for the sun to overtake the moon, nor can the night outpace the day. Each one is floating in an orbit. وآية لهم أنا حملنا ذريتهم في الفلك المشحون. And it is a sign for them that we boarded their children in the loaded ship. So the older people in Arabia, they used to send their younger children in the ships for foreign trade, and that is why children here are mentioned specifically. وَخَلَقْنَا لَهُم مِّن مِّثْلِهِ مَا يَرْكَبُونَ, and created for them things similar to it on which they ride. وَإِن نَّشَأْ نُغْرِقْهُمْ فَلَا صَرِيخَ لَهُمْ وَلَا هُمْ يُنقَذُونَ. And if we so will, we can drown them, then no one will respond to their cry, nor will they be rescued. إِلَّا رَحْمَةً مِنَّا وَمَتَاعًا إِلَىٰ حِينٍ. Unless there be mercy from us, and unless we let them enjoy for a while. وَإِذَا قِيلَ لَهُمُ اتَّقُوا مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِيكُمْ وَمَا خَلْفَكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تُرْحَمُونَ. And they pay no heed when it is said to them, save yourselves from that punishment which is before you in this world and that which will come after you die, so that you may receive mercy. وما تأتيهم من آية ربهم إلا كانوا عنها معرضين. There comes to them no sign from the signs of your Rabb, but they turn averse to it. وإذا قيل لهم أنفقوا مما رزقكم الله قال الذين كفروا للذين آمنوا أنطعم من لو يشاء الله أطعمه إن أنتم إلا في ضلال مبين. And when it is said to them, spend to the needy from the provision that Allah has given to you, the disbelievers say to the believers, shall we feed those whom Allah could have fed if Allah so willed? You are but in open error. وَيَقُولُونَ مَتَى هَذَا الْوَعْدُ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. And they say, when will the promise come true if you are truthful? ما ينظرون إلا صيحة واحدة تأخذهم وهم يخصمون. They are looking for nothing but for a single cry that will seize them when they will be quarreling. فلا يستطيعون توصية ولا إلى أهلهم يرجعون. So they will not be able to take a bequest, nor will they return to their household. وَنُفِخَ فِي الصُّورِ فَإِذَا هُم مِّنَ الْأَجْدَاثِ إِلَىٰ رَبِّهِمْ يَنسِلُونَ. And the horn will be blown, and suddenly they will be rushing from their graves towards their Rabb. قالوا يا ويلنا من بعثنا من مرقدنا هذا ما وعد الرحمن وصدق المرسلون. They will say, woe to us who has raised us from our sleeping place. This is what Rahman, the All-Merciful Allah, had promised, and the messengers had told the truth. إن كانت إلا صيحة واحدة فإذا هم جميع لدينا محضرون. It will be no more than a single cry, and in no time they will all be arraigned before us. فاليوم لا تظلم نفس شيئا ولا تجزون إلا ما كنتم تعملون. Then no one will be subjected to injustice in the least, and you will not be recompensed but for what you used to do. إن أصحاب الجنة اليوم في شغل فاكهون. The people of the paradise are engaged today in their activities, happily enjoying them. هم وأزواجهم في ظلال على الأرائك متكئون. They and their spouses are in pleasant shades, reclining on couches. لهم فيها فاكهة ولهم ما يدعون. For them there are fruits, and for them there is whatever they ask for. سلام قولا من رب الرحيم. Salam is a word from the merciful Allah. وَامْتَازُوا الْيَوْمَ أَيُّهَا الْمُجْرِمُونَ. And it will be said to the infidels, the disbelievers, get apart from the believers today, O the guilty ones. أَلَمْ أَعْهَدْ إِلَيْكُمْ يَا بَنِي آدَمَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا الشَّيْطَانَ إِنَّهُ لَكُمْ عَدُوٌّ مُبِينٌ. Did I not direct you, O children of Adam, that you must not worship the shaitan, because he is an open enemy for you? وَأَنِ اعْبُدُونِي هَذَا صِرَاطٌ مُسْتَقِيمٌ, and that you must worship me because this is a straight path. وَلَقَدْ أَضَلَّ مِنْكُمْ جِبِلًّا كَثِيرًا أَفَلَمْ تَكُونُوا تَعْقِلُونَ. You had misguided many people among you, so did you not have any sense? هَذِهِ جَهَنَّمُ الَّتِي كُنْتُمْ تُوعَدُونَ. Now this is the Jahannam of which you were consistently warned. اصْلَوْهَا الْيَوْمَ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَكْفُرُونَ. Enter it today because you have been persistently denying the truth. اليوم نختم على أفواههم وتكلمنا أيديهم وتشهد أرجلهم بما كانوا يكسبون. Today we will set a seal on their mouths, and their hands will speak to us, and their legs will bear witness about what they used to do. ولو نشاء لطمسنا على أعينهم فاستبقوا الصراط فأنى يبصرون. If we so will, we would wipe out their eyes right here in the world, and they would be racing towards us and towards the way, but how would they see? وَلَوْ نَشَاءُ لَمَسَخْنَاهُمْ عَلَى مَكَانَتِهِمْ فَمَا اسْتَطَاعُوا مُضِيًّا وَلَا يَرْجِعُونَ. And if we so will, we would disfigure them at their places, and they would not be able to move, nor would they return. وَمَنْ نُعَمِّرْهُ نُنَكِّسْهُ فِي الْخَلْقِ أَفَلَا يَعْقِلُونَ. And whomsoever we give long life, we reverse him in creation, then do they have no sense. وَمَا عَلَّمْنَاهُ الشِّعْرَ وَمَا يَنبَغِي لَهُ إِنْ هُوَ إِلَّا ذِكْرٌ وَقُرْآنٌ مُبِينٌ. We did not teach him poetry, and it is not proper for him. It is nothing of that sort, but it is an advice and a readable book that explains the truth. So when a person becomes very, very old, uh, his seeing, his sight, his hearing, his understanding, his physical abilities, they all become weak. And in many aspects, he reverts to the state that he was in his childhood. So if a wise and strong person eventually reverts back to the weak state of a child and to the ignorant state of a child, then Allah has the power to wipe out the eyes or distort the figure of a person whenever Allah wills. And so the pagans of Makkah, they used to say about the Quran that it was a sort of poetry that was conducted by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And so this ayah says that Allah never taught him poetry, and it wasn't something of a high status of Rasulullah as a prophet to be known as a poet. So for 40 years before Rasulullah became a prophet, there was not a single time where he composed even a single sentence of poetry. And Rasulullah never even showed any interest in that type of subject. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kept him away from poetry. Not only did he keep him away from poetry, but Rasulullah was never even literate in any sense of the form. So there was no point, or there was no reason for Rasulullah to be known as a poet, or for Rasulullah to compose any poetry. And so this is a further proof to the fact that the Quran is a divine book. لِيُنذِرَ مَنْ كَانَ حَيًّا وَيَحِقَّ الْقَوْلُ عَلَى الْكَافِرِينَ, so that it may warn him who is alive, and so that the word may prove true against the disbelievers. أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّا خَلَقْنَا لَهُم مِّمَّا عَمِلَتْ أَيْدِينَا أَنْعَامًا فَهُمْ لَهَا مَالِكُونَ. They did not see that we have created for them cattle among things made directly by our hands, and they become their owners. وَظَلَّلْنَا لَهُمْ فَمِنْهَا رَكُوبُهُمْ وَمِنْهَا يَأْكُلُونَ. And we have brought them under their control, so as some of them are their means of transport, and some of them they eat. وَلَهُمْ فِيهَا مَنَافِعُ وَمَشَارِبُ أَفَلَا يَشْكُرُونَ. And for them there are other benefits in them and things to drink, so would they not be grateful? وَاتَّخَذُوا مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ آلِهَةً لَعَلَّهُمْ يُنصَرُونَ. They adopted gods other than Allah so that they may be helped by them. لا يستطيعون نصرهم وهم لهم جند محضرون. They cannot help them, rather they are like an army brought forth for protecting these so-called gods. فلا يحزنك قولهم إنا نعلم ما يسرون وما يعلنون. So their remarks must not grieve you. Surely we know what they conceal and what they disclose. ولم ير الإنسان أنا خلقناه من نطفة فإذا هو خصيم مبين. Did man not see what we have created him for a drop of semen? Then suddenly he stood as an open adversary to us. أَوَلَمْ يَرَ الْإِنسَانُ أَنَّا خَلَقْنَاهُ مِن نُّطْفَةٍ فَإِذَا هُوَ خَصِيمٌ مُّبِينٌ. Did man not see that we have created him from a drop of semen? Then suddenly he stood as an open adversary to us. وَضَرَبَ لَنَا مَثَلًا وَنَسِيَ خَلْقَهُ قَالَ مَن يُحْيِي الْعِظَامَ وَهِيَ رَمِيمٌ. He has set up an argument about us and forgot his creation. He said, who will give life to the bones when they are decayed? قل يحييها الذي أنشأها أول مرة وهو بكل خلق عليم. Say these will be revived by the same one who had created them for the first time and who is fully aware of every creation. الذي جعل لكم من الشجر الأخضر نارا فإذا أنتم منه توقدون. The one who created for you fire from the green tree, and in no time you kindle from it. أوليس الذي خلق السماوات والأرض بقادر على أن يخلق مثلهم بلى وهو الخلاق العليم. Is it the one who has created the heavens and the earth has no power to create ones like them? Why not? He is a supreme creator, the all-knowing. إنما أمره إذا أراد شيئا أن يقول له كن فيكون. His practice when he intends to do something is no more than he says be, and it comes to be. فسبحان الذي بيده ملكوت كل شيء وإليه ترجعون. So pure from every fault is the one in whose hand is the dominion of all things, and towards him you are to be returned. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والصافات صفا فالزاجرات زجرا فالتاليات ذكرا إن إلهكم لواحد رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما ورب المشارق. I swear by those who stand in rows, then by those who prevent firmly, then by those who recite the dhikr. Surely your Rabb is but one, the Rabb of the heavens and the earth and what is between them, and the Rabb of the points of sunrise. So, according to most ulama, in these ayat, the reference is to those angels who stand in rows, prepared to carry out whatever they're ordered by Allah to do. So they're in their own safs, they're in their own rows, waiting for the command of Allah. They also prevent the shayateen from approaching the upper realm, and they are always engaged in the dhikr of Allah. And Allah does not need to swear an oath to confirm his statement, but the Quran has used several different oaths at different places to add eloquence and emphasis to the style of literature here. إِنَّا زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِزِينَةٍ الْكَوَاكِبِ. Verily we have decorated the nearest sky with an adornment to the stars. وَحِفْظًا مِّن كُلِّ شَيْطَانٍ مَارِدٍ. And have made them a security against every rebellious devil. لا يسمعون إلى الملأ الأعلى ويقذفون من كل جانب. They cannot listen to the upper realm and are hit from every side. دحورا ولهم عذاب واصب. To be driven off, and for them there is a lasting punishment. إلا من خطف الخطفة فأتبعه شهاب ثاقب. However, if one snatches a little bit, he is pursued by a bright flame. فاستفتهم أهم أشد خلقا أم من خلقنا إنا خلقناهم من طين لازب. Now ask them, are there any stronger in the formation of their bodies, or those other beings that we have created? Certainly we did create them from sticky clay. بل عجبت ويسخرون. But you wonder at their denial and they mock at the idea of a hereafter. وَإِذَا ذُكِّرُوا لَا يَذْكُرُونَ. And when any advice is given to them, they pay no heed to it. وَإِذَا رَأَوْا آيَةً يَسْتَسْخِرُونَ. And when they see a sign, they make fun of it. وَقَالُوا إِنْ هَذَا إِلَّا سِحْرٌ مُبِينٌ. And they say that verily this is but an open magic. أَإِذَا مِتْنَا وَكُنَّا تُرَابًا وَعِظَامًا أَإِنَّا لَمَبْعُوثُونَ. Is it that when we have died and become dust and bones, that we shall be raised again? أَوَآبَاؤُنَا الْأَوَّلُونَ. And even our fathers of aforetime. قُلْ نَعَمْ وَأَنْتُمْ دَاخِرُونَ. Say yes, you shall be disgraced as well. فإنما هي زجرة واحدة فإذا هم ينظرون. So it will be only a single castigating call, and all of a sudden they will begin to see. وقالوا يا ويلنا هذا يوم الدين. And they will be saying, woe to us, this is the day of retribution. هذا يوم الفضل الذي كنتم به تكذبون. It will be said to them, this is the day of judgment that you used to deny. احشروا الذين ظلموا وأزواجهم وما كانوا يعبدون. It will be said to the angels, muster all those who are unjust and their fellows and whatever they used to worship. من دون الله فهدوهم إلى صراط الجحيم. Other than Allah, and show them the way to Jahannam. وقفوهم إنهم مسؤولون ما لكم لا تناصرون. And stop them for a while, for they are to be asked about some questions. They'll be asked, what is wrong with you that you do not help each other? بَلْ هُمُ الْيَوْمَ مُسْتَسْلِمُونَ. On the contrary, that day all of them will have totally surrendered. وَأَقْبَلَ بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ. And some of them, the followers of their chiefs, will turn to others, the chiefs, asking questions from one another. قالوا إنكم كنتم تأتوننا عن اليمين. The followers will say, you are the ones who used to come to mislead us forcefully. قالوا بل لم تكونوا مؤمنين. They, the chiefs, will say, on the contrary, you yourselves were not believers. وما كان لنا عليكم من سلطان بل كنتم قوما طاغين. We had no authority over you at all, but you yourselves were a transgressing people. فحق علينا قول ربنا إنا لذائقون. So the word of our Rabb has come true against us. Indeed, we have to taste the punishment. فأغويناكم إنا كنا غاوين. We did misguide you because we were ourselves erroneous. فإنهم يومئذ في العذاب مشتركون. So that day they will share each other in punishment. إن كذلك نفعل بالمجرمين. This is how we deal with the criminals. إنهم كانوا إذا قيل لهم لا إله إلا الله يستكبرون. They were those to whom when it was said there is no God but Allah, they waxed proud. ويقولون أئنا لتاركو آلهتنا للشاعر Majnun. And used to say al-Mursaleen, no, he has come with the truth and has confirmed all the messengers of Allah. إِنَّكُمْ لَذَائِقُ الْعَلِيمِ. Surely you have to taste the painful punishment. وَمَا تُجْزَوْنَ إِلَّا مَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. And you will be recompensed for nothing but for what you used to do. إِلَّا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ الْمُخْلَصِينَ, unlike Allah's chosen servants. أُولَٰئِكَ لَهُمْ رِزْقٌ مَّعْلُومٌ فَوَاكِهُ وَهُوَ مُكْرَمُونَ. Those are the people for whom there is a known provision of fruits, and they will be honored. في جنات النعيم على سرر متقابلين يطاف عليهم بكأس من معين. In gardens of bliss facing each other on couches, they will be served with a cup from a flowing drink. بيضاء لذة للشاربين, that will be white and delicious for those who drink. لا فيها غول ولا هم عنها ينزفون, there will be no headache therein, nor will be they intoxicated with it. وَعِندَهُمْ قَاصِرَاتُ الطَّرْفِ عِينٌ, and by their side there will be females restricting their gazes to their husbands, having pretty big eyes. كَأَنَّهُنَّ بَيْضٌ مَكْنُونٌ, and if they were eggs hidden under feathers protected from pollution. فَأَقْبَلَ بَعْضُهُمْ عَلَى بَعْضٍ يَتَسَاءَلُونَ, then they will turn to each other asking mutually. قال قائل منهم إني كان لي قرين, a speaker from them will say, I had a companion in the worldly life. يقول أئنك لمن المصدقين, who used to say to me, are you one of those who believe? أئذا متنا وكنا ترابا وعظاما أئنا لمدينون, is it that when we have died and become dust and bones, is it true that we are going to be recompensed for our deeds? قال هل أنتم مطلعون, and he will say, would you like to have a look at Jahannam to find out what happened to that companion of mine? فَاطَّلَعَ فَرَآهُ فِي سَوَاءِ الْجَحِيمِ, so we look and you will see him in the middle of Jahannam. قال تالله إن كدت لتردين, he will say, by Allah, you were almost going to ruin me. وَلَوْلَا نِعْمَةُ رَبِّي لَكُنْتُ مِنَ الْمُحْضَرِينَ, but for the favor of my Rabb, I would have been among those produced for punishment. أَفَمَا نَحْنُ بِمَيِّتِينَ, and then the speaker will address other people of paradise in delight and wonder, saying, are we not then to die anymore? إِلَّا مَوْتَتَنَا الْأُولَى وَمَا نَحْنُ بِمُعَذَّبِينَ, beyond our first death, nor are we going to be punished. إِنَّ هَذَا لَهُوَ الْفَوْزُ الْعَظِيمُ, this is indeed the great achievement. For this kind of achievement all workers must work. لِمِثْلِ هَذَا فَلْيَعْمَلِ الْعَامِلُونَ, is it that blissful paradise better for hospitality or the tree of Zaqqum? إِنَّا جَعَلْنَا فِتْنَةً لِلظَّالِمِينَ, we have made it a test for the unjust. Now Zaqqum is a wild tree with a bitter trust found in the deserts of Arabia. When the Quran mentioned that it would be the food offered to the inmates of Jahannam, the disbelievers made fun of it and explained how a tree could grow in fire. And so that's why the Quran mentions that apart from being the food of the inmates of the fire, it was a test for the people whether they would believe in the possibility that a tree could be in Jahannam. إِنَّهَا شَجَرَةٌ تَخْرُجُ فِي أَصْلِ الْجَحِيمِ, is a tree that comes forth in the bottom of Jahannam. طَلْعُهَا كَأَنَّهُ رُؤُوسُ الشَّيَاطِينِ, its fruits are like the heads of the devils. فَإِنَّهُمْ لَآكِلُونَ مِنْهَا فَمَالِئُونَ مِنْهَا الْبُطُونَ, so they will have to eat from it and have to fill their bellies with it. ثُمَّ إِنَّ لَهُمْ عَلَيْنَا لَشَوْبًا مِنْ حَمِيمٍ, they will have on top of it a mixture made of boiling water. ثُمَّ إِنَّ مَرْجِعَهُمْ لَإِلَى الْجَحِيمِ, then their final return is to the fire. إِنَّهُمْ أَلْفَوْا آبَاءَهُمْ ضَالِّينَ, they found their fathers on the wrong path. فَهُمْ عَلَى آثَارِهِمْ يُهْرَعُونَ, so they used to run in their footsteps. وَلَقَدْ ضَلَّ قَبْلَهُمْ وَلَقَدْ ضَلَّ قَبْلَهُمْ أَكْثَرُ الْأَوَّلِينَ. Most of the earlier ones too had gone astray before them. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا فِيهِمْ مُنذِرِينَ. We did send warners among them. فَانظُرْ كَيْفَ كَانَ عَاقِبَةُ الْمُنذِرِينَ. So look how was the end of those who were warned. إِلَّا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. Except Allah's chosen servants. وَلَقَدْ نَادَانَا نُوحٌ فَلَنِعْمَ الْمُجِيبُونَ. And Nuh did call us for help after he was disappointed with his people, so we accepted his prayer as we are best to respond. وَنَجَّيْنَاهُ وَأَهْلَهُ مِنَ الْكَرْبِ الْعَظِيمِ. And we delivered him and his family from the great agony. وَجَعَلْنَا ذُرِّيَّتَهُ هُمُ الْبَاقِينَ. And made his progeny the sole survivors from the flood. وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرَةِ. And we left for him a word of praise among the later people. سَلَامٌ عَلَى نُوحٍ فِي الْعَالَمِينَ. Salam be on Nuh, the people of all the worlds. إِنَّ كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Certainly this is how we reward those who are good in their deeds. إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الْمُؤْمِنِينَ ثُمَّ أَغْرَقْنَا الْآخَرِينَ. He was one of our believing servants. وَإِنَّ مِنْ شِيعَتِهِ لَإِبْرَاهِيمَ. And certainly one of the adherents was Ibrahim. إِذْ جَاءَ رَبَّهُ بِقَلْبٍ سَلِيمٍ. Remember when he came to his Rabb with a pure heart. إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ وَقَوْمِهِ مَاذَا تَعْبُدُونَ. Remember when he came to his Rabb with a pure heart. إِذْ قَالَ لِأَبِيهِ وَقَوْمِهِ مَاذَا تَعْبُدُونَ. When he said to his father and his people, what is that which you worship? أَئِفْكًا آلِهَةً دُونَ اللَّهِ تُرِيدُونَ. Do you wish to have fallacious gods other than Allah? فَمَا ظَنُّكُمْ بِرَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. Then what do you think about the Rabb of the worlds? فَنَظَرَ نَظْرَةً فِي النُّجُومِ فَقَالَ إِنِّي سَقِيمٌ. Then he cast a look at the stars and then said, I feel indisposed. فَتَوَلَّوْا عَنْهُ مُدْبِرِينَ. So they went away from him, turning their backs. فَرَاغَ إِلَىٰ آلِهَتِهِمْ فَقَالَ أَلَا تَأْكُلُونَ. And we made his way to their gods and said to them, why would you not eat? مَا لَكُمْ لَا تَنطِقُونَ فَرَاغَ عَلَيْهِمْ ضَرْبًا بِالْيَمِينِ. What is wrong with you that you do not speak? Then he attacked them, striking with his right hand. فأقبلوا إليه يزفون قال أتعبدون ما تنحتون والله خلقكم وما تعملون. Then the idolaters came to him rushing. He said, do you worship what is carved by yourselves, while Allah has created you and what you make? قالوا ابنوا له بنيانا فألقوه في جهنم. They said, build for him a structure and throw him into the blazing fire. فأرادوا به كيدا فجعلناهم الأسفلين. So they intended to bring harm to him, but we made them the lowest by frustrating their plan. وقال إني ذاهب إلى ربي سيهدين. And he said, I am going to meet my Rabb. He will show me the way. ربي هب لي من الصالحين. Oh my Rabb, bless me with the righteous son. فبشرناه بغلام حليم. So we gave him the good news of a forbearing boy. فلما بلغ معه فلما بلغ معه السعي قال يا بني إني أرى في المنام أني أذبحك فانظر ماذا ترى قال يا أبت افعل ما تؤمر ستجدني إن شاء الله من الصابرين. Thereafter, when he reached an age in which he could work with him, He said, "O my little son, I have seen in a dream that I am slaughtering you. So consider, what is your opinion?" He said, My dear father, do you do what you have been ordered to do. You will find me, inshallah, one of those who endure patiently." فلما أسلم وتله للجبين. So it was a great episode when both of them submitted themselves to Allah's will, and He laid him on his forehead to slaughter him. وَنَادَيْنَاهُ أَنْ يَا إِبْرَاهِيمُ. And then we called out to him, "O Ibrahim, قَدْ صَدَّقْتَ الرُّؤْيَا إِنَّ كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ." You do not make the dream come true. This is how we reward those who are good in their deeds. إِنَّ هَذَا لَهُوَ الْبَلَاءُ الْمُبِينُ. وَقَضَيْنَاهُ بِذِبْحٍ عَظِيمٍ. And we ransomed him with a great sacrifice. وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرِينَ. سَلَامٌ عَلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ. And we left for him a word of praise among the later people. That is, salam be on Ibrahim. كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. This is how we reward those who are good in their deeds. إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Surely he is among our believing servants, and we gave them the good news of Ishaq, a prophet from among the righteous. وباركنا عليه وعلى إسحاق ومن ذريتهما محسن وظالم لنفسه مبين. And we did bless him and Ishaq, and among the progeny of both of them, some are good and some are utterly unjust in their own selves. وَلَقَدْ مَنَنَّا عَلَى مُوسَى وَهَارُونَ. Certainly bestow favors upon Musa and Harun. وَنَجَّيْنَاهُمَا وَقَوْمَهُمَا مِنَ الْكَرْبِ الْعَظِيمِ. And we delivered them and their people from the great agony. وَنَصَرَهُمْ وَكَانُوا هُمُ الْغَالِبِينَ. And we helped them so they became victors, and we gave them the clear book. وَهَدَيْنَاهُمَا الصِّرَاطَ الْمُسْتَقِيمَ. And guided them to the straight path among the later people. وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِمَا فِي الْآخِرِينَ. And we left for them a word of praise among the later people. سَلَامٌ عَلَى مُوسَى وَهَارُونَ. That is, salam be on Musa and Harun. إِنَّ كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. This is how we reward those who are good in their deeds. إِنَّهُمَا مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Surely both of them were among our believing servants. وَإِنَّ إِلْيَاسَ لَمِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ. And surely Ilyas is one of the messengers. إِذْ قَالَ لِقَوْمِهِ أَلَا تَتَّقُونَ. Remember when he said to his people, "Do you not fear Allah?" أَتَدْعُونَ بَعْلًا وَتَذَرُونَ أَحْسَنَ الْخَالِقِينَ. Do you invoke Ba'il and ignore the best of the creators? So Ba'il was the name of an idol that they used to worship. Allahu Rabbakum wa Rabba Abaikum al-awwalin. That is Allah, who is the Rabb and the Rabb of your forefathers. فَكَذَّبُوهُ فَإِنَّهُمْ لَمُحْضَرُونَ. They rejected him and therefore they will be arraigned. إِلَّا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ الْمُخْلَصِينَ. Except Allah's chosen servants. وَتَرَكْنَا عَلَيْهِ فِي الْآخِرِينَ. سَلَامٌ عَلَى إِلْيَاسِينَ. And we left for him a word of praise among the later people. That is salam on Ilyasin or Ilyas. إِنَّا كَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. This is how we reward those who are good in their deeds. إِنَّهُ مِنْ عِبَادِنَا الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. Surely he was from among our believing servants. وَإِنَّ لُوطًا لَمِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ, and surely Lut is one of the messengers. إِذْ نَجَّيْنَاهُ وَأَهْلَهُ أَجْمَعِينَ, remember when we saved him and his family, all of them. إِلَّا عَجُوزًا فِي الْغَابِرِينَ, except an old woman among those remaining behind. ثُمَّ دَمَّرْنَا الْآخَرِينَ وَإِنَّكُمْ لَتُمَرُّونَ عَلَيْهِمْ مُصْبِحِينَ وَبِاللَّيْلِ أَفَلَا تَعْقِلُونَ وَإِنَّ يُونُسَ لَمِنَ الْمُرْسَلِينَ إِذْ أَبَقَ إِلَى الْفُلْكِ الْمَشْحُونِ. And after that we destroyed others, and you do not pass them at daybreak, and by nightfall would you still not understand? And surely Yunus is from one of the messengers. Remember when he ran away towards the boat that was already loaded. فَسَاهَمَ فَكَانَ مِنَ الْمُدْحَضِينَ فالتقمه الحوت وهو مليم فلولا أنه كان من المسبحين للبث في بطنه إلى يوم يبعثون. And he participated in drawing lots to offload one of the passengers, and was the one who was defeated. فَالْتَقَمَهُ الْحُوتُ وَهُوَ مُلِيمٌ, then the fish swallowed him while he was reproaching his own self. فَلَوْلَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ مِنَ الْمُسَبِّحِينَ, had he not been one of those who proclaimed Allah's purity, لَلَبِثَ فِي بَطْنِهِ إِلَى يَوْمِ يُبْعَثُونَ, he would have definitely lived till the day when the dead will be raised. فَنَبَذْنَاهُ بِالْعَرَاءِ وَهُوَ سَقِيمٌ, then we cast him ashore in the open while he was ill. وَأَنبَتْنَا عَلَيْهِ شَجَرَةً مِّن يَقْطِينٍ, never have we caused a tree of gourds to open before them. وَأَرْسَلْنَاهُ إِلَى مِائَةِ أَلْفٍ يَزِيدُونَ, and we have sent him as a messenger to 100,000 or more. فآمنوا بي فمتعناهم إلى حين, so they believe then that we will let them enjoy for a limited time. فاستفتهم ألربك البنات ولهم البنون, so they ask, does your Rabb have daughters while they have sons? أم خلقنا الملائكة إناثا وهم شاهدون, oh, we created angels as females while they were witnessing. ألا إنهم من إفكهم ليقولون ولد الله وإنهم لكاذبون أصطفى البنات على البتين. Allah is children, and they're absolute liars. Is it true that Allah has chosen daughters for himself and messengers as sons? ما لكم كيف تحكمون أفلا تذكرون أم لكم من سلطان عظيم. So then what is it that you do not think about it? Or is it that there is some open authority for you? فَأْتُوا بِكِتَابِكُمْ إِن كُنتُمْ صَادِقِينَ, then bring your book if you are truthful. وَجَعَلُوا بَيْنَهُ وَبَيْنَ الْجِنَّةِ نَسَبًا وَلَقَدْ عَلِمَتِ الْجِنَّةُ إِنَّهُمْ لَمُحْضَرُونَ, and they have made up between him, Allah, and the jinns some sort of kinship, while the jinns already know that they are bound to be seized. So some of the pagans, they believe that Iblis was Allah's brother who created evil, while Allah created the good things. So some others held that while angels are Allah's daughters, their mothers were some queens from jinns. And this means that the queens of jinns, na'udhu billah, were the wives of Allah. So this ayah, it refutes that claim. Subhanallah amma yasifun. Pure is Allah from what they describe. Illa ibadallah al-mukhlasin. Except Allah's chosen servants. So this exception relates to the statement that was made in the previous ayah. So while the jinns already know that they are bound to be seized, the meaning is that except for Allah's chosen servants who believe and do righteous deeds, all other jinns that are bad will be subjected to a painful punishment. فَإِنَّكُمْ وَمَا تَعْبُدُونَ. So you and those whom you worship, مَا أَنْتُمْ عَلَيْهِ بِفَاتِحِينَ. So you and those whom you worship, none of you can make anyone turn away from him, Allah. إلا من هو صال الجحيم, except him who is to burn in Jahannam. وما منا إلا له مقام معلوم. And the angels, they say there is no one among us who does not have a known station. وإنا لنحن الصافون وإنا لنحن المسبحون وإن كانوا ليقولون لو أن عندنا ذكرا من الأولين لكنا عباد الله المخلصين فكفروا به فسوف يعلمون. And we are those who stand in rows, and we are those who proclaim Allah's purity. And they, the pagans, used to say, had there been a scripture with us like that of the formal people, we would have been certainly the chosen servants of Allah. Then once the divine book came to them, they disbelieved in it. So very soon they will come to know. ولقد سبقت كلمتنا لعبادنا المرسلين إنهم لهم المنصورون وإن جندنا لهم الغالبون وتول عنهم حتى حين وأبصرهم فسوف يبصرون. They are the ones who will be supportive, and verily it is our army of chosen servants that prevails. So withdraw your attention from them for some time, but watch them, they shall soon see the reality. أَفَبِعَذَابِنَا يَسْتَعْجِلُونَ. Are they asking for a punishment to come sooner? فإذا نزل بساحتهم فساء صباح المنظرين. So when it will descend in the courtyard, then evil will be the morning of those warned. وَتَوَلَّ عَنْهُمْ حَتَّى حِينٍ. So withdraw your attention from them for some time. وَأَبْصِرْ فَسَوْفَ يُبْصِرُونَ. And watch, they shall soon see the reality. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين. So withdraw your attention for some time and watch that they shall soon see the reality. Pure is your Rabb, the Rabb of the All-Might, and honor from what they describe. وَسَلَامٌ عَلَى الْمُرْسَلِينَ. And salam be on the messengers. وَالْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ رَبِّ الْعَالَمِينَ. And praised is Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Alright, inshallah, before we continue with the next surah, we will take a short little break, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum, we are back. Starting off from, or rather continuing with Surah Swad. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم صاد والقرآن ذي الذكر بل الذين كفروا في عزة وشقاق كم أهلكنا من قبلهم من قرن فنادوا ولا حين مناص وعجبوا أن جاءهم منذر منهم وقال الكافرون هذا سحر كذاب أجعل الآلهة إلها واحدة إن هذا لشيء عجاب. Swad, I swear by the Quran, the book containing advice, that this is true. And Swad, this is another huruf muqatta, it's not a name of a person. But those who disbelieve were involved in false pride and opposition. How many a generation have we destroyed before them? So they cried out for mercy, while no time was left for having any refuge. They, the pagans, wonder that a warner has come to them from among themselves, and the disbelievers say, "This is a magician, a sheer liar. Has he not turned all the gods into a single God? It is a very strange thing indeed." وانطلق الملأ منهم أن امشوا واصبروا على آلهتكم إن هذا لشيء يراد ما سمعنا بهذا في الملة الآخرة إن هذا إلا اختلاق أأنزل عليه الذكر من بيننا بل هم في شك من ذكري بل لما يذوقوا عذاب أم عندهم خزائن رحمة ربك العزيز الوهاب أم لهم ملك السماوات والأرض وما بينهما فليرتقوا في الأسباب. And the leaders among them walked out saying to their followers, "Walk away from the Prophet and stay firm on adhering to your gods. This call of the Prophet is surely something designed for his personal benefit. We never heard of it in the classical faith of ours. This is nothing but a false invention. Is it believable that the message of advice has been sent down to him alone from among all of us? The fact is that they are in doubt about my message. Rather, they have not yet tasted my punishment. Do they have the treasures of the mercy of your Rabb, the mighty, the bountiful?" So this is an answer to their objection that why was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, why was he selected for prophethood? So the ayah says that this objection embodies the claim that treasures of Allah's mercy are or should have been in their control and they should have selected Allah's prophet. This claim is too absurd to need any comment. Or do they have the ownership of the heavens and the earth and what lies between them? Then they ascend to the sky by ropes. جند ما هنالك مهزوم من الأحزاب كذبت قبلهم قوم نوح وعاد وفرعون ذو الأوتاد وثمود وقوم لوط وأصحاب الأيكة أولئك الأحزاب إن كل إلا كذب الرسل فحق عقاب وما ينظر هؤلاء إلا صيحة واحدة ما لها من فواق. So what is there in Mecca is just a host of the opposing groups that has to be defeated. And even before them, the people of Nuh and Ad and Fir'aun, the man of stakes, and Thamud and the people of Lut and the people of Aika have rejected the messengers, and they were these strong groups. So the Pharaoh was a man of stakes because he used to crucify his opponents by putting stakes in their hands and in their feet. All of them did nothing but declare the messengers as liars, Hence my punishment became due. And these people are waiting for nothing but for a single cry, and that will have no pause. وقالوا ربنا عجل لنا قطنا قبل يوم الحساب اصبر على ما يقولون واذكر عبدنا داود ذا الأيد إنه أواب إن سخرنا الجبال معه يسبحن بالعشي والإشراق والطير محشورة كل له أواب وشددنا ملكه وآتيناه الحكمة وفصل الخطاب. And they say, Our Rabb, give us our share of the punishment sooner before the day of reckoning. Bear patiently with what they say, and remember our servant Dawood, the man of might. Surely he was ever turning to Allah. We had subjugated the mountains to join him in making tasbih at evening and sunrise, and the birds as well mustered together. All were turning to Allah with him. And we have made his kingdom strong and gave him wisdom and decisive speech. وهل أتاك نبأ الخصم إذ تصوروا المحراب إذ دخلوا على داود ففزع منهم قالوا لا تخف خصمان بغى بعضنا على بعض فاحكم بيننا بالحق ولا تشطط واهدنا إلى سواء الصراط. إن هذا أخي له 99 نعجة ولي نعجة واحدة فقال أكفلنيها وعزني في الخطاب قال لقد ظلمك بسؤال نعجتك إلى نعاجه وإن كثيرا من الخلطاء ليبغي بعضهم على بعض إلى الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وقليل ما هم وظن داود أنما فتناه فاستغفر ربه وخر راكعا وأناب فغفرنا له ذلك وإن له عندنا زلفى وحسن مآب. As there come to you the story of the litigants when they entered the sanctuary by climbing over the wall. So the gist of the following story is that Dawood alayhi salam had made a mistake. And in order to draw attention to it, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he sent down two litigants when he was engaged in worship in his sanctuary. So they came to him in an unusual way, and this unusual way was that they climbed over the wall, and then after doing so, they went to him and placed the matter before him. So he decided between them, but at the same time, he realized that it was a subtle indication from Allah towards his own mistake. So he prostrated towards Allah and repented. And the Quran doesn't really specify the nature of this mistake, but there are many different versions of this event given by different ulama and different sources. So the story that's mentioned in the Bible is different, and for you to find out that story, you would have to go into the Bible. I mean, I could say the story. Pretty long. Huh. Okay, well, if you want to put in the chat that you one among the others, so decide between us with truth and do not cross the limits and guide us to the straight path. This is my brother, he has 99 ewes, and I have a single ewe. Still, he said, give it into charge, and he overpowered me in speech. He, Dawood, said, yes, there is a hand being raised right now. Does anyone have a question? Fatima Kubra, do you have a question? Yes, what is your question? Okay, Sister Fatima has asked us to repeat the ayah. I will repeat from the previous ayah, inshallah. Or rather, from the previous one, right before the tafsir part. So when they entered upon Dawood and he was scared of them, they said, "Be not scared." Okay, repeat the tafsir part. Okay, sure. So in this ayah has I come to you the story of the litigants. So the brief story was that Dawud alayhi salam made a mistake, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent two litigants to draw attention to this mistake. So the Quran doesn't specify what this mistake was, but Dawud alayhi salam realized what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had sent these two people was for, and he repented to Allah right away. Now the Bible does mention what this mistake was. It's a quite long story. I can mention it if you would like for me to mention it. Otherwise, I will continue. And it's not 100% certain whether the biblical story is the right story or whether if it is just a story and with some falsifications mixed in. So when they entered upon Dawood and he was scared of them, they said, "Be not scared. We are two litigants. One of us has wronged the other, so decide between us with truth and do not cross the limits and guide us to the straight path." So this is my brother. He has 99 ewes and I have a single ewe. So still he said, "Give it into my charge," and he has overpowered me in speech. So Dawood said, "He has certainly wronged you by demanding your ewe to be added to his ewe. Many partners oppress one another, except those who believe and do righteous deeds, and very few they are." And Dawood realized that we had put him to a test, so he prayed to his Rabb for forgiveness, and bowing down, he fell in prostration and turned to Allah. Again, this is another sajda ayah, so remember to do your sajda at the end of the class. So we forgave him that lapse, and surely he has a place of nearness in our presence and an excellent resort. يا داود إنا جعلناك خليفة في الأرض فاحكم بين الناس بالحق ولا تتبع الهوى فيضلك عن سبيل الله إن الذين يضلون عن سبيل الله لهم عذاب شديد بما نسوا يوم الحساب وما خلقنا السماء والأرض وما بينهما باطلا ذلك ظن الذين كفروا فويل للذين كفروا من النار أم نجعل الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات كالمفسدين في الأرض أم نجعل المتقين كالفجار كتاب أنزلناه إليك مبارك ليدبروا آياته وليتذكر أولو الألباب ووهبنا لداود سليمان نعم العبد إنه أواب. O Dawood, we have made you a vicegerent on the earth. So judge between people with truth and do not follow the selfish desire, lest it should lead you astray from Allah's path. Surely those who go astray from the path of Allah will have a severe punishment because they had forgotten the day of reckoning. We do not create the heavens and the earth and what is between them in vain. That is the thinking of those who disbelieve. And so woe to the disbelievers because of the fire they have to face. Shall we make those who believe and do righteous deeds equal to those who commit mischief on the earth, or shall we make the God-fearing equal to the sinners? This is a blessed book we have revealed to you, so that they are deliberate in its verses, and so that the men of understanding may heed to the advice. And we blessed Dawood with Sulaiman. He was an excellent servant of Allah. Surely he was great in turning to us in penitence and praise. إذ عرض عليه بالعشي الصافنات الجياد فقال إني أحببت حب الخير عن ذكر ربي حتى تاورت بالحجاب ردوها علي فطفق مسحا بالسوق والأعناق ولقد فتنا سليمان وألقينا على كرسيه جسدا ثم أناب قال رب اغفر لي وهب لي ملكا لا ينبغي لأحد من بعدي إنك أنت الوهاب. Worth remembering is the incident when the swift horses of high breeding were presented before him in the evening. He said, I held the love of good things, these horses, because of the remembrance of my Rabb, until it went behind the veil. Then he said, bring them back to me, and he started passing his hands over the shanks and the necks of the horses. And indeed, we tested Sulaiman while we threw on his throne a body, after which he turned to us. He said, O my Rabb, forgive me and bless me with a kingdom that will not be available to anyone after me. Surely you are the bountiful. So the previous ayah narrates an event. Its purpose is that the vast kingdom and affluent wealth did not make Sulaiman a.s. heedless of Allah's remembrance and obedience. He loved horses only because they were instruments to carry out jihad in the path of Allah. And there are some other interpretations of the story, but it's mentioned that the love of the horses for the sake of jihad was the most preferable explanation for the story. The next part of the ayah, or rather this present ayah, uh, is another story in which the Quran doesn't actually specify the details of. So, some reports say that some reports are authentic, some are not, and it was to put Sulaiman alayhi salam to a test, after which he turned to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than before. So just the fact that Sulaiman alayhi salam was tested is the gist of the story, whether or not the details are available for us. فسخرنا له الريح تجري بأمره رخاء حيث أصاب والشياطين كل بناء وغواص وآخرين مقرنين في الأصفاد هذا عطاؤنا فامنن أو أمسك بغير حساب وإن له عندنا لزلفى وحسن مآب. Then we subjugated the wind for him that blew smoothly on his command to wherever he wished. And we subjugated to him the devils among the jinns, all builders and divers, and many others held in chains. This is our gift. So do our favor to someone or withhold it with no requirement to give account. He has a place of nearness in our presence and an excellent end. واذكر عبدنا أيوب إذ نادى ربه أني مسني الشيطان بنصب وعذاب اركض برجلك هذا مغتسل بارد وشراب ووهبنا له أهله ومثلهم معهم رحمة منا وذكرى لأولي الألباب وخذ بيدك ضغثا فاضرب به ولا تحنث إنا وجدناه صابرا نعم العبد إنه أواب واذكر عبادنا إبراهيم وإسحاق ويعقوب أولي الأيدي والأبصار. And remember our servant Ayub when he called his Rabb, saying, the shaitan has inflicted weariness and pain upon me. Allah said to him, strike the ground with your foot. Here is a cool water to bathe and a drink. So Ayub alayhi salam, he suffered from a severe disease. And in answer to his dua, he was ordered to strike the ground with his foot. And when he did so, a spring of water gushed forth from that spot. So he was directed to have a bath with this water and to drink from it. And as soon as he did so, this disease was completely cured, and his family members who had left him came back to him. And we let him have his family and the like of them besides, as a mercy from us and a reminder for the people of understanding. And we said to him, take a bundle of thin twigs in your hand and strike with it, and do not violate your oath. Surely we found him very enduring. He was really an excellent servant. Surely he was great in turning to us in penitence and praise. So the wife of Ayub alayhi salam, she served him throughout his sickness. But when Shaitan appeared to her in the form of a doctor, she asked her to treat her husband. Iblis, who pretended to be a doctor, put a condition that if her husband was cured by his treatment, she would have to say that her husband was cured by him, the doctor. Inclined to accept her condition, she told Ayub alayhi salam about it. And Ayub alayhi salam told her that he was Iblis who wished her to commit shirk. So since she seemed somewhat inclined to accept the suggestion, Ayub alayhi salam was grieved to know that Iblis had access even to his wife. So overcome with grief, he swore an oath that after being cured, he would beat his wife with 100 sticks. And when he was cured by Allah, he was worried how would he beat his faithful wife who served him throughout his illness. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directed him to fulfill his oath by taking a bunch of 100 small sticks and strike her only once with a bunch. So this was a special concession given to Ayub alayhi salam to save him from breaking his oath on the one hand and to save his wife on the other hand from undue affliction. And remember our servants Ibrahim and Ishaq and Yaqub, the men of strength and the men of vision. إنا أخلصناهم بخالصة ذكر الدار وإنهم عندنا لمن المصطفين الأخيار واذكر إسماعيل واليسع وذا الكفل وكلا من الأخيار هذا ذكر وإن للمتقين لحسن مآب جنات عدن مفتحة لهم الأبواب. We chose them for a trait of remembering the eternal home in the hereafter, and surely they are in our sight among the chosen, the best of the righteous. And remember Ismail and Al-Yasa and Dhul-Kifl, each one of them was among the best of the righteous. This is a reminder of what has passed, and surely the God-fearing will have the best place to return. Everlasting gardens with their doors open for them. متكئين فيها يدعون فيها بفاكهة كثيرة وشراب وعندهم قاصرات الطرف أتراب هذا ما توعدون ليوم الحساب إن هذا لرزقنا ما له من نفاد هذا وإن للطاغين لشر مآب. They will be relaxing in it, calling there for plenteous fruits and drinks, and in their company there will be females restricting their glances to their husbands and of matching ages. This is what you are promised for the day of reckoning. Surely that is provision provided by us, to which there is no end. Having said this, the transgressors will surely have the most evil place to return. جهنم يصلونها فبئس المهاد هذا فليذوقوه حميم وغساق وآخر من شكله أزواج هذا فوج مقتحم معكم لا مرحبا بهم إنهم صالوا النار قالوا بل أنتم لا مرحبا بكم أنتم قدمتموه لنا فبئس القرار. The Jahannam in which they will enter. So how evil is that place to rest? Let them taste this hot water and pus and other things similar to it of various kinds. When the leaders of the infidels will see their followers entering the hell after them, they will say to each other, this is a multitude rushing into the hell with you. They are not welcome. They are to burn in the fire. The followers, will say to their leaders, no, it is you who are not welcome. You are the ones who brought this upon us. So how evil is a place to stay forever. قالوا ربنا ما قدم لنا هذا فزده عذابا ضعفا في النار وقالوا ما لنا لا نرى رجالا كنا نعدهم من الأشرار أتخذناهم سخريا أم زاغت عنهم الأبصار إن ذلك لحق تخاصم أهل النار قل إنما أنا منذر وما من إله إلا الله الواحد القهار. The followers will say, "O Rabb, whoever has brought this upon us, do increase his punishment twofold in the fire." And the disbelievers will say, "What is the matter with us that we do not see those men here in hell, whom we used to count amongst the worst, and the Muslims whom the disbelievers used to treat as the worst people among them? Had we taken them as a laughing stock unjustly, or have our eyes missed them? That is going to happen definitely. That is the mutual quarrel of the people of the fire. Say, I am only a warner, and there is no God but Allah, the One, the All-Dominant." رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما العزيز الغفار قل هو نبأ عظيم أنتم عنه معرضون ما كان لي من علم بالملأ الأعلى إذ يختصمون إن يوحى إلي إلا أنما أنا نذير مبين. The Rabb of the heavens and the earth and what is between them, the mighty, the very forgiving, say it is a great news to which you are averse. I had no knowledge of the heavenly beings when they were debating about the creation of Adam. Revelation is sent to me only because I am a plain warner. So the reference that is being made here is that this conversation took place between Allah and His angels when He expressed His intention to create Adam, and which is being mentioned in the following ayah. And the meaning is that I never knew about what Allah said to His angels when He intended to create Adam, nor was there any source of knowledge available to me other than the revelation from Allah. Now that I'm narrating you these events without having any other source of knowledge, it clearly proves that I am receiving a revelation from Allah, and which has been sent to me only for the purpose that I warn you clearly and spread this message. إذ قال ربك للملائكة إني خالق بشرا من طين وإذا سويته ونفخت فيه من روحي فقعوا له ساجدين فسجد الملائكة كلهم أجمعون إلا إبليس استكبر وكان من الكافرين قال يا إبليس ما منعك أن تسجد لما خلقت بيدي أستكبرت أم كنت من العالين. When your Rabb said to the angels, I am going to create man from clay, so once I make him perfectly and breathe my spirit into him, you must fall down in prostration before him. Then the angels prostrated themselves, all of them together, except Iblis. He was proud and became one of the disbelievers. So Allah said, "O Iblis, what did prevent you from prostrating yourself before what I had created with my own hands? Did you wax proud, or were you among the lofty ones?" قال أنا خير من خلقتني من نار وخلقته من طين قال فاخرج منها فإنك رجيم وإن عليك لعنتي إلى يوم الدين قال ربي فأنظرني إلى يوم يبعثون قال فإنك من المنظرين. He said, I am better than him. You created me from fire and created him from clay. He said, then get out from here, for you are accursed, and you shall remain my curse till the day of judgment. He said, O my Rabb, then give me respite till the day that they are raised again. He said, then you have been given respite. إلى يوم الوقت المعلوم قال فبعزتك لأغوينهم أجمعين إلا عبادك منهم المخلصين قال فالحق والحق أقول لأملأن جهنم منك وممن تبعك منهم أجمعين قل ما أسألكم عليه من أجر وما أنا من المتكلفين إن هو إلا ذكر للعالمين ولتعلمن نبأه بعد حين. until the day of the appointed time. He said, then I swear by your might that I will definitely lead them astray, all of them, except your chosen servants among them. Allah said, then the truth is, and it will always be the truth that I speak, that I will definitely fill the Jahannam with you and those who follow you from them all together. Say, O Prophet, to the disbelievers, I do not demand from you any fee for it, nor am I from those who make of things artificially. It is anything but an advice for all the worlds, and you will come to know its reality after a while. Surah Zumar. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم تنزيل الكتاب من الله العزيز الحكيم إنا أنزلنا إليك الكتاب بالحق فاعبد الله مخلصا له الدين ألا لله الدين القيم ألا لله الدين الخالص والذين اتخذوا من دونه أولياء ما نعبدهم إلا ليقربونا إلى الله زلفى إن الله يحكم بينهم فيما هم فيه يختلفون إن الله لا يهدي من هو كاذب كفار. So this is a revelation of the book from Allah, the Mighty, the Wise. Surely we have revealed the book to you with truth. So worship Allah, making your submission exclusive for Him. Remember, Allah alone deserves the exclusive submission. As for those who have adopted guardians other than Him, saying, we worship them for no other reason, but because they would bring us closer to Allah. Allah will judge between them in the matters in which they are differing. Surely Allah does not guide anyone who is a liar, highly a disbeliever. لو أراد الله أن يتخذ ولدا لاصطفى مما يخلق ما يشاء سبحانه هو الله الواحد القهار خلق السماوات والأرض بالحق يكور الليل على النهار ويكور النهار على الليل وسخر الشمس والقمر كل يجري لأجل مسمى ألا هو العزيز الغفار. Had Allah opted to have a son of his own, he would have definitely chosen anyone as he wished out of what he had created. But pure is he is Allah, the only one, the all dominant. He created the heavens and the earth for just a purpose. He wraps the night over the day and wraps the day over the night. And he has put the sun and the moon under his command, each one of them moving for an appointed time. Remember, he is the Almighty, the most forgiving. خلقكم من نفس واحدة ثم جعل منها زوجها وأنزل لكم من الأنعام ثمانية أزواج يخلقكم في بطون أمهاتكم خلقا من بعد خلق في ظلمات ثلاث ذلكم الله ربكم له الملك لا إله إلا هو فأنا تصرفون. He created you from a single person. Then once this person was created, he made his match from him and sent down for you 8 pairs of the cattle. He creates you in the wombs of your mothers, creation after creation, in 3 layers of darkness. That is your Allah, your Rabb. To him belongs the whole kingdom. There's no God but he. Then to where are you being diverted by your whims? إن تكفروا فإن الله غني عنكم ولا يرضى لعباده الكفر وإن تشكروا يرضه لكم ولا تزر وازرة وزر أخرى ثم إلى ربكم مرجعكم فينبئكم بما كنتم تعملون إنه عليم بذات الصدور. If you disbelieve, then Allah does not need you at all. However, He does not like for His servants to be disbelievers. If you are grateful, He will like it for you, and no one will bear the burden of someone else. And then to your Rabb is your return. So He will tell you about what you used to do. He is aware of whatever lies in the hearts. وإذا مس الإنسان ضر دعا ربه منيبا إليه ثم إذا خوله نعمة منه نسي ما كان يدعو إليه من قبل وجعل لله أندادا ليضل عن سبيله قل تمتع بكفرك قليلا إنك من أصحاب النار أمن هو قانت آناء الليل ساجدا وقائما يحذر الآخرة ويرجو رحمة ربه قل هل يستوي الذين يعلمون والذين لا يعلمون إنما يتذكر أولو الألباب. And when man is afflicted by pain, he calls his Rabb, turning to him passionately. Therefore, when he blesses him with some favor from him, he forgets that for which he was called, and he was calling him earlier, and sets up partners for Allah, so that he leads others astray from his way. So enjoy the pleasure enjoy the pleasure of your disbelief for a while, then surely you are among the people of the fire. Can such a people be equal to the one who worships during the hours of night, prostrating himself and standing, fearing the hereafter, and having hopes in his Rabb's mercy? Say, can those who know and those who do not know become equal? It is only the people of understanding who are receptive of the advice. قل يا عباد الذين آمنوا اتقوا ربكم للذين أحسنوا في هذه الدنيا حسنة وأرض الله واسعة إنما يوفى الصابرون أجرهم بغير حساب. Say, O my servants who believe, fear your Rabb. Those who do good deeds in this world will have a place to return, and the earth of Allah is wide. Surely those who observe patience will be given their reward in full without measure. قل إني أمرت أن أعبد الله مخلصا له الدين. Say, I have been ordered to worship Allah, making my submission exclusive to Him. وَأُمِرْتُ لِأَنْ أَكُونَ أَوَّلَ الْمُسْلِمِينَ. And I have been ordered to be the first of those who submit. وَإِنِّي أَخَافُ إِنْ عَصَيْتُ رَبِّي عَذَابَ يَوْمٍ عَظِيمٍ. Say, if I were to disobey my Rabb, I fear the punishment of a great day. قُلِ اللَّهَ أَعْبُدُ مُخْلِصًا لَهُ دِينِي. Say, it is Allah whom I worship, making my submission exclusive to Him. فاعبدوا ما شئتم من دونه قل إن الخاسرين الذين خسروا أنفسهم وأهليهم يوم القيامة ألا ذلك هو الخسران المبين. So worship what you wish other than Him. Say, indeed, the losers are those who will lose themselves and their people on the day of judgment. Beware, that is really the obvious loss. لهم من فوقهم ظلل من النار ومن تحتهم ظلل ذلك يخوف الله به عباده يا عبادي فاتقون. For them there are canopies of fire on top of them and canopies of fire underneath them. That is the thing against which Allah warns His servants. So, all servants of mine, fear me. والذين اجتنبوا الطاغوت أن يعبدوها وأنابوا إلى الله لهم البشرى فبشر عباد الذين يستمعون القول فيتبعون أحسنه أولئك الذين هداهم الله وأولئك هم أولو الألباب. And those who abstain from worshipping the Taghut and turn fervently to Allah, for them there is good news. So give the good news to my servants, and who listen to what is said and follow the best of it. Those are the ones whom Allah has guided, and those are the ones who possess understanding. أفمن حق عليه كلمة العذاب أفأنت تنقذ من في النار لكن الذين اتقوا ربهم لهم غرف من فوقها غرف مبنية تجري من تحتها الأنهار وعد الله لا يخلف الله الميعاد. So tell me about the one for whom the word of punishment is destined. Is it you? Then who would have someone who is already in the fire? But for those who fear the Rabb, there are chambers with chambers built on top of them, with rivers running from underneath them. That is Allah's promise. Allah does not go back on any promise. ألم تر أن الله أنزل من السماء ماء فسلكه ينابيع في الأرض ثم يخرج به زرعا مختلفا ألوانه ثم يهيج فتراه مصفرا ثم يجعله حطاما إن في ذلك لذكرى لأولي الألباب أفمن شرح الله صدره للإسلام فهو على نور من ربه فويل للقاسية قلوبهم من ذكر الله أولئك في ضلال مبين. Have you not seen that Allah sent down water from the sky, then made it penetrate down into the earth, and made it form springs, and afterwards they wither, and you see them turn yellow, then He makes them chafe? Surely in that there is a lesson for the people of understanding. So I ask about a person whose heart Allah has opened up for Islam, and consequently he proceeds in a light from his Rabb. So woe to those whose hearts are too hard to remember Allah, and those are wandering in an open error. الله نزل أحسن الحديث كتابا متشابها مثاني تقشعر منه جلود الذين يخشون ربهم ثم تلين جلودهم وقلوبهم إلى ذكر الله ذلك هدى الله يهدي به من يشاء ومن يضلل الله فما له من هاد. Allah has sent down the best discourse, a book containing subjects resembling each other, mentioned again and again, shivered from which are the skins of those who have awe of their Rabb. Then their skins and their backs become soft enough to tend to the remembrance of Allah. This is the guidance of Allah, with which He brings to the right path whomsoever He wills. As for the one whom Allah lets go astray, for him there is no guide. أفمن يتقي بوجهه سوء العذاب يوم القيامة وقيل للظالمين ذوقوا ما كنتم تكسبون. Tell me about the one who tries to save himself from the worst punishment with his face on the day of judgment, whether he is equal to the one who is not liable to any punishment and will be set to the wrongdoers. Have a taste of what you used to earn. كذب الذين من قبلهم فأتاهم العذاب من حيث لا يشعرون. Those before them had also rejected the messengers, and consequently the punishment came upon them in a way that they had never imagined. فأذاقهم الله الخزي في الحياة الدنيا ولعذاب الآخرة أكبر لو كانوا يعلمون. Then Allah made them taste disgrace in the worldly life, and of course the punishment of the hereafter is much greater, only if they knew. وَلَقَدْ ضَرَبْنَا لِلنَّاسِ فِي هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ مِنْ كُلِّ مَثَلٍ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَذَكَّرُونَ. And we have cited for people all sorts of examples in the Quran so that they may receive the message. قُرْآنًا عَرَبِيًّا غَيْرَ ذِي عِوَجٍ لَعَلَّهُمْ يَتَّقُونَ. Through an Arabic Quran that has no digression from the truth, so that they may be God-fearing. ضرب الله مثلا رجلا فيه شركاء متشاكسون ورجلا سلاما لرجل هل يستويان مثلا الحمد لله بل أكثرهم لا يعلمون. Allah has given an example. There is a man enslaved and owned by some partners having not rivalry with each other. And on the other hand, there is a man who's solely owned by a single man. Can they be an equal in comparison? Praise be to Allah, the truth stands established, but most of them do not know. إنك ميت وإنهم ميتون ثم إنكم يوم القيامة عند ربهم تختصمون. Verily you are to die, and they are to die. After that, on the day of doom, you will surely place your disputes before your Rabb. So the last bit of verses for this juz are in reference to the fact that if a slave is owned by several masters, that person is always in confusion and misery because he has to obey the commands of each one of his masters, and they may be contradicting to each other. So similarly, a mushrik who believes in several gods, several deities, is in confusion. At times he prays to his coin deities, and at others he prays to Allah. On the other hand, a slave owned by a single master concentrates on his commands and so remains in peace. And likewise, a person who believes solely in Allah and submits only to Allah, they are in a place where there is peace of mind and soul. Sadaqallahu al-Azim. Alright, so Alhamdulillah, we have just finished the 23rd juz, going on to Surah Zumar. Inshallah, tomorrow on we will continue. We will do the 24th juz, we'll go on and do Surah Ghafir, Fusilat, Shura, and whatnot. So once again, Jazakallah khair. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for your efforts for participating in these classes. Inshallah, I will see you all tomorrow. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.